Alright, I guess I should make a book review on this book that's been sitting on my desk for a long time. Doomed by Chuck Palahniuk. The girl on the cover is the girl from the last book, Damned by Chuck Palahniuk. And as you can tell, maybe, that all this, she's covered in white jizz. That I had this book at work reading it, and my boss is really religious, so I kind of expected him to ask me about this, but apparently nobody could tell what it was. But, like in the last book, I probably already talked about, she died by her adopted brother playing this kissing game. She liked him or something. She was trying to fuck him, I think, and like she had like these Hello Kitty condoms, and he like strangled her with it, but it was all like planned that she's supposed to die and go to hell because she's supposed to be this messiah. And she starts going through hell and like killing Hitler and Mao and Pol Pot and all these people and gaining their armies. And it's really eccentric and ludicrous and ridiculous book. But eventually she gets back on Earth on Halloween because candy is important in hell. And she kind of gets stuck on Earth. And the devil's like this limousine driver that takes people to hell. And in this book, he's kind of like saying that he authored her life and he's kind of like behind her and she's nothing, that he's just like created her from whole cloth or whatever. And it's kind of like her friends that were in hell with her. They had access to talking to people through telephones. They were like, what do you call it? Salesmen. They would call you in the middle of you trying to eat supper, and they would like interrupt people. It'd be super annoying. It's part of like your punishment in hell. That's your job in hell, just like piss people off. Anyway, her friends, because they've been there for like eons or whatever, and they call her parents, who are like these super famous celebrities, like Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt, but they're called the Spencers or whatever. And they convinced them that they were going to give birth to a kid that was going to be the Messiah or something. It's really hard to follow. This whole thing is weird. So then she's born. They talk about how ridiculously rich they are and how they own houses in like every town, every city in the world and stuff, and it's like super wasteful. And like the main part of the book seems to be about this turning point where she's on like a public restroom that's in the middle of an island in the freeway. Have you ever seen one of those? Like an island's where the road divides, right? Have you ever seen a restroom that's like in the middle of two lanes of traffic? Like, how do you even get to it? I don't understand how it works. It's kind of like a truck stop. So let's just say it's a truck stop bathroom, because that makes more sense to me. So she goes in there, and she has to poop really bad, I think. Or she has to pee really bad. And she's got this book, the Charles Darwin Voyage of the Beagle, because it kind of relates to like being in hell. Charles Darwin was in hell, and like evolution is kind of the opposite of religion or something. I don't know. Anyway, she's got the Voyage of the Beagle with her. It's this big, heavy book. She's trying to take a piss. She has to use the men's room because somebody's already in the women's room. And she has to go real bad. So she goes in there, and there's a glory hole. So somebody sticks their dick in. She thinks it's like a dog turd. She smacks it with her book. It starts bleeding. First of all, it jizzes all over. That's how she gets all the jizz on her face. And ends up killing the guy. Turns out to be her grandfather. So the whole book, she's like traumatized by killing her grandfather, who jizzed on her because he had his dick in a glory hole in a men's bathroom, which would make him gay, I guess. So she's got this jizz like all over her shirt and all over her book, and then like later they become like holy relics when she becomes like the savior of mankind or whatever, because it's still got the jizz on. It's kind of like Monica Lewinsky's shirt in that way. Fucking Chuck Palahniuk's weird, dude. He has a really good grasp of like what the world really is and how everything really works, but then he like puts it to like creates weird shit out of what he knows about how everything is. But it turns out even that's not even her real grandpa, because it was like a ghost of one of those friends from hell, I think, or maybe somebody else. I can't remember who it was, but it was like a ghost that took over her grandpa's body and made him do that because her grandpa had a heart attack. And when they do and they zap you when you're having a heart attack, that's the moment that a ghost can enter your body and like become human again or like take over your body and possess you for a while. So she does that to somebody later on too. So yeah, her grandpa died of natural causes. She meets him later on, his spirit, and she's asking him about that, and he's like, I don't know anything about sticking my dick in a glory hole. Sounds weird, your grandma. She's like, oh, I'm so relieved. So there's also this part where the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, that big floating island of plastic, it's the size of Texas. Her parents are so rich that they were able to like melt it into a big island and then somehow put motors on it to like transport it like a boat. Even though it's the size of Texas, it's supposed to look kind of like heaven because it's a it's like I thought I was recording for a second there, or I thought I was going live. I thought my stream was live. I'm like, am I talking to like an audience right now? Anyway, she's got this island of like plastic going towards Alaska or something. And then Armageddon kind of is happening, and it's just like, it's really weird, dude. So like her parents hired this guy who's like a ghost hunter type dude who's supposed to be able to communicate with ghosts, and he like takes ketamine to talk to her, and she tries to explain stuff to him, and then like it kind of just rambles off into like she's running away from everybody at the end, and it doesn't really resolve anything. Yeah, it's hard to explain. I think she like confronts Satan again and like pisses him off. I don't know. This book's fucking weird. I don't even know what to say about it really. She invents this whole religion called Boorism. That's about like she convinces everybody that it's a good idea to fart and curse because that'll get you into heaven, when actually the opposite is true. That's what gets people to go into hell more often. I think she went to hell because I don't even remember. That was the first book. I thought it was because she was suicide, but she wasn't suicide. She was murdered. Sort of. Everything's like so weird, dude. It's so weird. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't really recommend this book if you like books that make sense. But it's interesting if you like weird shit and Chuck Palahniuk, which I kind of do. But it's a little too weird for most people, I think. Yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell.